My formula is don't take life too seriously. It's definitely not worth it. Find a reason to laugh each day because laughter is the best medicine. My take back from being in this space for so long is the fact that I have learned to be strong and I have learned to shed my vulnerability, probably stand up for what was rightfully due to me, irrespective of my gender.
This is the 33rd episode of Dream 100 Show with Mrs. Sandhya Raghunandan. Welcome to Dream 100 Show listeners. I am your host Savita Hosamane.
And I'm your co-host Gunjan.
Each week, we interview today's most successful and inspiring business owners with winning teams
who had the courage to chase their dreams in spite of all the challenges.
Join us as we bring you everything that goes on in the minds of successful business owners during decision-making process.
And gain insights to make smarter decisions.
In today's episode, we talk to Mrs. Sandhya Raghunandan, who is the director of the Indian subsidiary of GRANITI Spa, Italy. She started her career in the early 90s in the mining industry and has worked hard and smart to become the super person she is today. She has etched a fine, delicate balance of work-life integration. So let's uncover her 3 decades of inspiring journey right here, right now. Welcome to Dream 100 Show, Mrs. Sandhya.
Thank you so much for having me.
We are super excited to know about your journey because not every day we get a chance to hear somebody from the mining industry.
Yeah, and I'm super excited to be here and share my experiences with you.
Awesome. So how would you describe yourself as a person?
I would say I'm a very emotional person, Savita. Comes to my family. Yet when it comes to my career, I am very strong and firm. I actually understood this about myself when my father once described me on a public platform. And he said, my daughter at her workplace is as strong as the stone she sells, but she's as soft as a rabbit when it comes to family.
Wow.
It's actually hard to describe oneself, I think, because what are we really? I mean, the person we think we are or the person we are perceived. But on a less philosophical note, I think I'm a non-complicated person and I like to be happy. And I try to minimize any undesirable situations in my life as far as I can. I try to be normal.
Awesome. So hard exteriors and soft interiors.
Like I said, with work it's hard and with family it's soft.
Awesome. With such a kind of nature, what inspired you to join this industry?
Well, actually, Savita, I didn't even know what this industry was all about. A lot of people say it's a male-dominated industry, but to me, I didn't even know what I was stepping into. I was fresh out of college and with a strong desire to be financially independent. You know, life was quite simplistic for me. And so were my motives and goals per se. Basically, my yearning to work came from a need to be empowered financially and even otherwise. I was not sure what particular profession or line of work I had to pursue. I wasn't clear in my mind. I was just 20 and I was to be married soon. It was just that I believed that if I was to walk this life alongside another person, my every stride was to match my partner's and vice versa. And this walk was together, no one ahead and no one behind. So keeping these ideas in mind, I believed I needed to get a job, earn and contribute to my future married life. So that was the reason that made me take up a job. And so as a fresh graduate, I worked briefly in an engineering firm before I joined the granite and marble industry. I really must say that the day I stepped into this industry, I just fell in love with what I did and what I learned each day. My take back from being in this space for so long is the fact that I have learned to be strong and I have learned to shed my vulnerability, probably stand up for what was rightfully due to me, irrespective of my gender. I maneuvered myself in such a way that being a woman was not mattered. It was more of what my deliverances were and more of what I could do, irrespective of who I actually am.
That's wonderful. Did you feel welcome in that industry?
I started out as an employee. I took up a job there. As long as I fitted into the roles that I had to play and what exactly was appealing to them, as in my personality when they interviewed me, was perhaps the reason why they welcomed me in the way they did. When it comes to having a resume, in front of them, I probably filled up the criteria. All they wanted was somebody who, was pretty much smart. The added advantages was I had learned French. This was an Italian company. So probably my communication with the Italians was essential, and knowing French, they assumed that, I could probably pick up Italian very soon. So
wow.
I guess that's where I was selected amidst the other candidates who were there.
Initially, like, what challenges did you face when you started off with this work? Though the passion and the commitment and the credentials were there, but still, there will be some teething problems.
Exactly. Yes. Not some, actually, I could say a lot of teething problems. The reason being is that the portfolio I held, basically, I entered into the administrative part of the company. There wasn't really anyone per se to guide me. The thing is that I had to find my way or maneuver my way around the responsibilities that I had to, take care of. So, to give you an idea, like, I would broadly divide my job profile was basically administration, and then I used to handle the logistics. And at a later point of my career, I got into the technical aspects of this business. So when I joined the company, briefly to give you an idea of what I actually did, I had the responsibilities of handling payments to employees, bills, maintenance of the office, signed empty checks in my hands. There was a lot of documentation that had to be prepared for the export. So familiarizing myself with how an export actually happens. So, I had to prepare documents and I had to enable shipments from India to Italy and many parts of the world where we had our stockyards. There was another aspect, the legal aspect of the company. I didn't know much in terms of legalities, so I had to read a lot to understand legal documents. Another part of the administration was banking procedures. So I had to interact with bankers independently and learn what they had to say to me. So basically, I learned on the field. When I used to go to the bank, I would ask a lot of questions. It takes me back 30 years ago when we used to bank with Canara Bank. And back then, there was this elderly gentleman in the principal office of Canara Bank. His name was Mr. Adiga. And he had tremendous patience and willingness to sit and guide me throughout. I must say, I learned a lot from him about the banking procedures. Then there were visits to the Reserve Bank of India when, we had the foreign inward remittances coming in. I had to find my way around, but I wouldn't say I couldn't manage. But what made what I can say makes a difference with today's times and those times of yesteryears was today we have computers, mobile phones, internet, Google to help us with all the information we need. Back then, it was how well we developed our relationships and how much willingness were the people to offer their advice or guidance to us. So it was more an interpersonal relationship that we had to encounter. Then when it came to the logistics, there were materials that were inspected and in the quarries, and I had to follow up with the transportation, interact with the ports, coordinate with the shipping agents, shipping companies, and ensure that our cargo was exported or loaded and exported. So I had to deal with challenges that happened at the port. It could be port strikes. It could be late transportation by the supplier. Sometimes overbooking by liners, because between the period of 1990 right up to 2012, granite was exported out of India in a very large scale. So many times there were overbookings made by the liners. and they couldn't accommodate cargo. So a lot of short shipments happened then. So, with the logistics, these were the challenges in the beginning that I had to encounter, but I, kind of found my way around that. Later on, when I actually say about quite a few years afterwards, at a later point in my career, I got into the technical aspect. And here, this was more of something that I wanted to do. I mean, I started going to the mines and factories out of curiosity. I wanted to know what the product was that we bought or sold. It's nice to know the names of the materials, but I wanted to know how it looked like. And honestly, Savita, I fell in love with the stones. Everything looked so beautiful. The movements, the colors, everything was so fascinating to me. And then the challenges, when I said I want to be, when I felt like moving into the technical aspects, was learning about the stones in detail. Why were they categorized as first choice or commercial blocks? What was a wavy material, or what was a uniform material? What were the defects that you find in a block when you do an inspection? What is mica in the blocks? What is quartz in the blocks? There are thousands of varieties of stone, and it's amazing to know and understand how each one differ from each other. The challenge, I would say, is more about what I had to learn or understand to actually take the responsibility of picking up or sourcing a material or selling a material to India.
So it's been a huge, tremendous growth curve for you.
Definitely, it's been a exciting journey, but it's also that it was a progression. See, it was not that I did everything at one go. I started off from the administration and legal aspects and, of course, logistics. But the technical part of this industry is a whole chapter by itself. And that I went to, a little later part of my career. That's about.
So since you were a part of the team right from the beginning, were there any other women folk who were there? Or sometimes what happens is, like as you start the climbing up the ladder, like as you said, when you moved from admin to technical, were you welcome there? Would the people over there relate to you as a lady, or did they have their own? Because quarry and mining is totally, it's dangerous as well. And it is a little bit intimidating for any person.
Yes.
So how did the crowd and you, both of you, react with each other?
Okay, so like I said, I started with the administration, which means that when I had to enable an export, I was already in touch with, our mine owners and quarry owners here. This was essentially when I was a buyer predominantly in India. So I had already established a relationship through the banking or the payments that I had to do. And essentially, I do believe that they had won my trust. They knew that I was doing a very good job. And, it was only nice to know that they extended their hospitality, and, they made me feel very comfortable when I actually met them face to face. This is about the mine owners. And when it comes to the other inspectors or the personnel who go for the inspection of material, I must say, and I really want to mention this, it's a pleasure working with the Italians. They have never shied away from sharing information or knowledge to me, and they love to speak. So if you ask them one question, they give you every detail that they know about that subject. And so I learned a lot. It could be during the fairs, international fairs, or the Stona that I used to attend. Could be interactions with them, or it could be the fact that I, would spend many hours traveling with my colleagues and, interacting with them. That I found my familiarity. They found me comfortable, and the relationship developed. And while this was happening, I also, learned a lot through them. So I would say it is because I already knew them. The mine owners I already knew, and I was, handling their payments, opening letters of, we were opening letters of credit for them. Payments came on time. They were content with the way we were already working with. So it was just a step further.
Awesome. Didn't your family members feel the other way around? Did they feel that you're taking too much on your hands? Didn't they say, why don't you stop taking so much pressure or something like that?
Savita, on the contrary, I have had the most encouraging family anyone can possibly ask for, and I'm truly blessed. See, my husband has been supportive from day one. Like I told you, we already decided that we would be hand in hand, step by step together. So when he saw me happy, he's generally happy when I'm happy. So that's the comfort level we have with each other. When it came to my parents and in-laws, I should say they were extremely encouraging. And whenever, I needed them in terms of support to take care of my daughter, they were always there for me, especially because I think they saw me contributing financially to the family. I was, being actively part of the growth of my family. They were seeing me creating my own identity. So it goes for my sisters, my brother, my husband's family, entire support and encouragement, I can say. Nobody really came in the way of my growth.
That's awesome.
So, like I said, I'm blessed. It's a unique family that I belong to.
So, okay, like any lowest point in your life, what was your learning at that point?
I would say that the lowest point of my life was when I was very ill. My daughter was very young. That is 1998. There were several months of my illness. And what I did learn from this experience was to, nurture and cherish the life that we have. And that every relationship that I value must be cherished. And I should give my utmost, my 100% to that relationship. To me, that's what matters. Everybody who is close to me in my heart, I need to cherish that relationship. So I learned that, and it can be not necessarily family alone. It was my friends, it was my colleagues, the entire set of people who I was, involved with. So I believe in nurturing relationships. This is what, and every moment of this life, like I said, we might not be able to do everything that we aspire to, but if we try and make an attempt to fulfill those little dreams that we have, we should, because we have one life and we should cherish it. Yes, this experience of being terminally ill at one point of time in my life has taught me to value every moment that I have alive.
Wonderful. During those times, who was your major support, your pillar of strength?
I can say two people. One was my mother, undoubtedly. She's the one who made me strong and get up on my feet. And, if I am here today, she fed me well. She made sure that she took care of me and my baby. I stayed at my mother's place during that time. And I had a lot of support from my workplace, in the sense that I would work from the house. Like, we had telephones. And, we were still not in that module of mobile phones and stuff like that. But we had, they sent me a computer home. So there was no pressure. Whenever they felt that I could respond, I was doing so. Then we have my husband who was always there for me. Yeah, I mean, I think it's basically my mother, and, everything else fell into place.
So you experienced work from home quite early in your career.
Yes, because it starts off from the time when I delivered my daughter. So it's my personality that I didn't really feel the necessity of taking a maternity leave per se. I mean, this is my personality, and this is a very individual thing. And also because of the fact of the place that I work with, it's a very family oriented setup. So, that's so even back then, like when she was 11 days old, I would respond. I mean, it was not like I completely shut myself from my workplace, but I did it at my pace and, the way I wanted to do it. So, yeah, I mean, I had support in the office, so that was not a problem. But like I said, I did it at my pace. There was no compulsion.
So if anybody wants to take up the mining industry now, what advice would you give them from your side?
Go for it. I would simply say go for it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, why would you want to refrain from something that is so adventurous? If you like to travel, if you like to be outdoors, and if you're not biased about the kind of people you interact with. See, basically, you will have to deal with every sort of person, whether it's the mine owners from the south to the tactful factory owners of the north. It could be a politician in the trade or a bureaucrat heading a department. It could be a chivalristic businessman in a swanky car to a supervisor in the quarry. You will be exposed to every sort of person. And if you are curious to meet people, this is where you should be. And I would say, if a woman can sell Coca-Cola, she can definitely sell stone. Why not?
So you have interacted with people from all walks of life.
Absolutely. Yes.
Which skill do you think one should have when interacting with people from different walks of life like this?
Yeah. Primarily the ability to communicate. And if you are a person who's a bit warm in character or personality, you open up, right? So it's the ability to communicate, which is very conversational skills are essential, yes. But I mean, primarily when once you are able to do so, you establish a good relationship or you establish a relationship with somebody, and then it goes to the next level. So one of the characteristics would be that. Another thing I would say is one would have to be observant. You need to have a keen eye to understand your product well, because this is all based on your eyesight. When we don't have a technical way or a instrument to use to ascertain the type of block you're buying, it is all about your eye. It is how you are able to identify defects, problems in a stone. So basically, you should be a very observant person. As per qualifications, I would say, see, basically any qualification when it comes to science or to the commerce or humanities help in this particular field. But essentially, see, because for example, I was from the environmental sciences background. And to me, what helped was the fact that it was easy to understand the technical differences between granite, marble, sandstone, quartzite, onyx, etc. And when it came to the administrative side, learning to do accounts was all something that I learned on my own. I did it the hard way. But of course, if you have a background in any of these, it definitely helps you to find yourself there. But essentially, I would say in this particular field, you need to get out of your comfort zone. You need to travel a lot. You need to stay on the roads for long hours without, proper washrooms or facilities or food. But it's definitely doable. And when you reach these quarries, right, you're taken care of very well. And so I would say growth is subjective to any individual. If a woman, it's not about the gender per se. It's about getting out of your comfort zone and willing to explore and be adventurous. There's a lot we can do if we get out of that comfort zone.
So one quality is communication, one is eye for detail, and the other is getting out of comfort zone.
And efficiency also. See, basically, it is a people skill that I would say. Efficiency, because things happen, and you need to have an answer for it immediately. You need to take action against certain things immediately. If there is a short shipment, what's my next step? I'll give you a typical example. Sounds very funny, but before my competitor reaches the quarry, I need to be there. So I need to plan overnight. Before he takes the best blocks, I need to be there. I need to be well informed. So I need to communicate with the people around me. I need to do these kind of things prior. So you have to be agile. You have to be alert. And this adds up to the actual thing. There's no formula per se, but it's your personality. So if you're a go-getter, if you are keen, have a keen eye and observant, if you love stones, then this is the place to be. it's different. You need to explore it by
Mm.
yourself and, find your way around it.
So
Yeah.
what has been your greatest accomplishment?
Well, the very fact that I have progressed from a back-end office to being the director of this subsidiary, I would say that is my accomplishment. It is not that I was suddenly sitting there and being the director. I worked myself up step by step to be who and where I am today. So I would say that's my greatest accomplishment.
Awesome. Since you have interacted with people globally, so
Yes.
when people would interact with you, any compliment that you remember?
Compliment. I would say the compliments came in various ways. I mean, on a one-to-one and even otherwise, especially when I started moving on to the, international fairs and when we participated in the Stona and, these places, people had only earlier seen me working in, on the, paperwork. But when they actually started seeing me progressing, because see, I'll tell you, most of the people in this industry have been together for all this period of time. Practically nobody is here for just yesterday and today. Most of the people are here from the very beginning, and also because of the fact that my interactions have been with the owners of the business. Most of these companies are properly family run businesses, and so you are actually interacting directly with them. So they have seen me grow from the time I was young until where I am today, and not just grow age-wise, but grow within the company and within the bracket of my experiences that I have had. Those compliments were always coming in. If I would say, the happiest moment that ever happened in this period of time was when my company was given an award for the largest exports of granite from India continuously for a 10-year period.
Wow.
And this happened in Chennai. The award ceremony happened in Chennai, and the kicks I got was to be able to go up there and receive this award on behalf of Red GRANITI, standing there amidst other exporters from various other fields and industries. So that was the kick I got from. So this was a period of somewhere between the late 90s to the mid 2000s, the 10-year period.
Awesome. That is just like touching the stars.
Yeah, it was a very beautiful moment for me.
Great. So what is that one sentence which you keep telling yourselves to move ahead? Or did you require any sentence? Is that the question?
Actually, I mean, I didn't have had time to think of any sentence that triggers me. But my formula is, don't take life too seriously. It's definitely not worth it. Find a reason to laugh each day, because laughter is the best medicine. So I just go by that. This is my kicks.
Wow. So, how does your family react to you now that it's been a long journey? Probably when you started off, they thought that it was your passion or just to have that financial independence. But now it is a different game altogether. So, how do you think they look at you now, be it your kids or your husband?
Yeah, I mean, definitely I have the respect of everybody around me. And probably the period of the peak would have been sometime like 5 to 6 years ago, where, they that I was not going to give up. I was going to continue and continue. So today they have found a comfort zone. I have found my comfort zone. They love the fact that I have reached the pinnacle almost, in what I do. And everybody seems content.
So you seem to have a great work-life integration or work-life balance. How do you think you achieved it?
I achieved it firstly because of probably, I would say, the atmosphere that I work in, the industry that I work in. Now, when I say this, it is not a corporate like structure. By now you would have understood that this is not the typical corporate like world that we work in. It works on the fact that you need to deliver, period. How, when, what, etc. is left to you. So there's a lot of freedom that's given to me and has been given to me when I work. I'm not, there's not somebody who's hanging down my neck that queries or asks me questions as to why or what. As long as I do the delivery when it has to be done, it's perfectly fine. So there's a lot of freedom in my workspace. And that is what, gets me going or makes me feel happy at my workplace.
So you found a comfortable space in your work, but how about in your family?
When it came to my family, as I said, I've already told you that there was a lot of support. So, but what actually, I would actually rephrase this as like, the times when I was stressed out, what would I do? So here it's like, when once I was done with when I was much younger, it was maybe daughter was also very young, and so in the beginning it was about the time that I spent with her after office hours. So that was my stress buster per se. And we did a lot of fun things. We went to the park, we played, we watched cartoons together. I read a lot of stories to her, and I found my happiness there. It was interactive. I spent time with her. She was happy. And as a family, we traveled a lot. So my husband and I share the same dream of traveling, exploring, different cultures, architecture, history. This is what we both share as a passion. So we traveled together a lot. Then as the years went on, I took on the game of golf. It is here that I find my peace. And I play golf to de-stress. So I enjoy the time that I spend on the golf course. For me, while my mind is in sync with the delivery of each shot, being one with nature at the same time is blissful. And like I said, I observe things a lot. I love to watch, say, a chameleon basking in the sun or the seasonal blooms of the course, And I love to see the transformation in the trees and the skies whenever the season changes. It's my way of meditation. And I have a favorite golf mate who is half my age. He's like a son to me. So I love spending time with him while I burn those calories. And another thing I do is I mainly write children's stories. And I have published a book called the Tri-Series of Animal Stories. It's a beautiful thing to write for children. I mean, I become a child by myself. So I love animals, and most of my stories are animal related. So creativity through writing occupies a certain space in your mind. And it's a healthy way of making your mind think, imagine, and, to pen down those stories. So I would say physical activities, creativity, time spent with my daughter were the methods in which I could beat my stress. So when I don't seem to be a stressful person, I'm giving my utmost even to the family, whether it is, in the form of, say, family functions or, festivals. When you're not stressed out because you're managing your stress with these other aspects of your life, you can give yourself to the family in the best possible way. I would say managing stress, because work and stress come together. So managing that stress with these kind of diversions makes you feel healthier and happier. And when you're a healthier and happier person, you give to your family equally. You give to your workplace. So there's a good balance out there. Essentially, it is to find that formula in life that you can, de-stress with. And once you're there, you're there. That's how I maneuvered myself.
Very, very beautifully put. I think you're one of the few persons who have got things sorted out in their lives.
I guess I have been, I think a lot, Savita. Basically, I think a lot because, as I said, essentially, I don't like uncomfortable situations and unpleasantries around me. So the essence of life is to find that balance. And when you find that balance, you're there for everybody and every situation. So if you can do that, if you can find that balance somehow without stressing out, without, getting agitated, then it kind of makes everybody happy, and you're happy when everyone's happy too.
Beautiful. So what's your vision in the coming years?
Vision for the company as such?
Yeah, one is for the company and one is for your own self.
My vision for my company is I would like to continue seeing the Indian subsidiary on the global map. And I'm working towards making changes in the present setup to match with the global needs. And I would like to see more young faces with more innovative ideas, creative minds, and the will to work hard to keep this trade of granite and marble active and alive for the years to come. See, India has a growing economy, and doing business globally will contribute to part of this growth immensely. So essentially, I would like to be there on the global map for a long time to come.
Wow, cool. So on the personal front, like you said, you have authored a book. Would you like to author more books?
Yeah, I'm actually working on the second series, tri-series. It's again animal related. And essentially, the idea of writing these books are basically, as I said, I love animals and I also love traveling. So it's both these things put together. If you get to read my book at some point of time, it's about animals and the place that they are surrounded with. In the tri-series of animal series, the first book that was released, we had the monkeys from Ayodhya. And we had the elephants from Nagarhole, and we have dogs from Madurai, from a quarry in Madurai. So as I said, when I travel, I observe a lot and I connect with the surroundings. The second series, which will be also very interesting, is about a snake who lives in Mathura. And we have a camel from Rajasthan. And somewhere down the line, I wanted to bring in my giraffes from Africa. So I have the giraffes traveling from the savannas right up to the Mysore Chamarajendra Zoo.
So it will be just like an Indian jungle book.
Oh, yes.
That's very exciting.
So yes, I would love to continue to writing. Yes, that's something that I don't just write children's books. I also write a lot of other stuff, that adults would find interesting to read. So, but I haven't published any of those as of now. I will also release the second book sometime in June.
Awesome. So I wish you all grand success for your further writing series.
Thank you so much, Savita.
Yeah. So before we conclude, I would like to know if any listeners would want to connect with you and know more about you. How do they connect?
I could share my email address, perhaps, and they could connect me through email and probably take it up from there.
Awesome. Are you very much active on social media as well?
Very much, yes.
Okay.
So I like, as I said, I like to take a lot of photos, Savita, so especially of nature. And, I spend a lot of time in my balcony looking at the skies and seeing the different moods of the sky. So you will find a lot of pictures that I post there of these various moods of the sky or nature or whatever it is. So yeah, you will, I use that for that. And then, yes, I also keep a golf diary on Instagram. So I just kind of keep a note of the places that I play with on each particular day. And so mainly that, but then I use Instagram mainly for as a golf diary. So I am on social media, and then LinkedIn, of course, as a work profile.
Please share the links. We will ask our listeners also to connect, and I would also definitely stay connected.
Sure, I definitely will share the links.
Thank you so much. It's been such a wonderful conversation. It's a very beautiful journey. And from what I've heard, I can feel you as a very sensitive and a caring and a delicate person, though you are in the hardest industry, the stone
Absolutely.
industry.
So I know it's just incidentally happens to be my daughter's birthday today. So when she
Wow.
woke up, I went to wish her and she says, "Hi, I'm super mom." So, that was the best compliment I got for the day. So, yeah, I mean, if she could say that to me, then, I feel
You
complete.
are really super. So you are super, Sandhya. Yes, for super. Amazing. Very beautiful. So wishing your daughter a very happy birthday from my side as well.
Thank you so much. I will
Mm.
convey to her.
If you feel that we have left out any question which would have added value to this conversation, please go ahead and state that.
There isn't anything except the fact that I would like to, there should be more people. I wouldn't want to be gender biased, but I would say I would love that there are more people getting into this industry, especially the youngsters, because I am seeing, the second generation of family run businesses getting into the system. And I see the youngsters having very interesting ideas, very innovative ideas. They are moving with the changes that are happening, around the globe. And so if we could see more youngsters getting into this business of granite and marble, look at it as probably streamlining it into a more organized industry, it will definitely make a difference to all of us who are here. So I would like to see more young people getting into here.
Wow, that's real cool. Okay, thank you so much for this wonderful insights and your sharing.
Thanks, Savita, for having me over.
I thank Mrs. Sandhya Raghunandan from the bottom of my heart for sharing her wonderful insights from an amazing journey. She is the perfect embodiment of a person who loves her work, values her family, friends, hobbies, and still has the me time to live a enriching life for herself. Here are my top 3 takeaways from this beautiful conversation. My first takeaway being freedom at work gives a person an empowering edge. Managing stress at work can make you happier, healthier, and highly productive as well. My third learning is that activities like playing with kids, watching cartoons, creative writing, traveling, hobbies like golf can be great stress busters. Do share what were your takeaways from this beautiful conversation. So now go ahead and share what were your top 3 takeaways from this beautiful conversation that you just listened to. Please listen to the entire conversation, not once, but twice, as each one of you will have your amazing takeaways.
Never lose out on an opportunity to learn from the life lessons of real-time business owners on Dream 100 Show. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Dream 100 Show.
And now make a smart decision of taking the next step towards your dreams. We strongly believe that life is just a play, as
we win some, we lose some.
We miss some and we mess with some. So enjoy your journey and play it to the fullest.
Don't forget to subscribe Dream 100 Show and leave a review.
Share your biggest takeaways with us and follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. This is Savita
and Gunjan signing off. Catch you soon in our next episode.